Radiant dance machines were introduced in Season of the Lost, and in the first few weeks of the season, they were the most overpowered Hunter exotic armor out there, but then they got disabled and then they got fixed. Well, today I'm going to check out the Radiant dance machines, the perks, the story behind why they were nerfed, plus a look at a Hunter PVE build in Destiny 2. So if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, first let's check out the armor itself with the Radiant dance machines. So the Radiant dance machines are exotic Hunter leg armor, and they are actually returning from Destiny 1. So looking at the perks, we've got the dance. So activating your dodge ability while near targets allows you to dodge additional times for a short period. So the main issue with Radiant dance machines are that they've been severely neutered. So almost immediately after coming out in Season of the Lost, Bungie had to disable them in PvP, and then a few weeks later they were nerfed beyond recognition. So this is due to the perk the dance, which allows for more dodges, but each dodge was basically giving back half your super bar when combined with high intellect stats, distribution and dynamo mods. So this was causing havoc in all game modes. So invaders in Gambit constantly had their super. You could pretty much have an arc super constantly for a whole strike or a whole raid, if you can believe that. Not to mention the issues it would cause in PvP. So then Bungie released a fix on September the 2nd, 2021, so just about under 2 weeks after the season released, and they said, so fixed an issue causing Radiant dance machines to trigger armor mods and stasis fragments more often than intended. So unfortunately after the nerf, we were left with an exotic for Hunters, which is hard to put in a place. So there's better options out there for PvP when it comes to mobility, and dancing around in PvE is tough to give up your exotic slot for when there are other exotics out there with plenty more utility. So I think Bungie is going to have to go back to the drawing board on these and try and rework them again, since they did return from Destiny 1. Otherwise I think Guardians are just going to get these and simply put them in their vault. Bungie may look to balance them in an upcoming sandbox update, but we've yet to hear about any upcoming changes. But let me know down in the comments, did you have them when they first came out? And also, how do you think they should be improved? Well, next up, let's have a look at how to get the Radiant dance machines. So they are one of the newer exotic pieces introduced in Beyond Light, specifically in Season of the Lost. So you can target farm exotic pieces of armor through Legend and Master Lost sectors. If you complete these activities solo, then there's a chance for the exotic armor to drop for you. So every day, the Legend and the Master Lost sectors rotate, with 2 available each day across the planets and the moons. So as well as the location for the Legend and the Master Lost sectors rotating, the rewards, well, they rotate too, with different armor pieces for head, arms, chest and legs. If you want to check out the location and the rewards, you can do so in-game by completing the Lost sectors on the regular difficulty and then checking them out on the map, and they are indicated by a blue shield icon. So to get the Radiant dance machines, you want to look out for the exotic legs reward. Then if you complete the Legend or Master Lost sector solo, you'll have a chance for that reward, and if you don't get it the first time, keep trying and you'll get them after a few tries. Well, next up, let's have a look at a Radiant dance machine Hunter PVE build. So looking at the subclass first, I'm going to be using Way of 1,000 Cuts, and this one is Middle Tree Gunslinger. So looking at the abilities, we've got Knife Trick, so throw a fan of flaming knives that burn targets on hit, and that is your melee ability. So then you've got Burning Edge, so while your enemies burn, your dodge ability recharges faster. We've got Playing with Fire, so destroying burning enemies recharges Knife Trick more quickly. And then finally we've got Blade Barrage, so vault into the air and unleash a volley of solar charge explosive knives. I'm going to be using Gambler's Dodge and Knife Trick a fair amount to increase the damage output, so given I'll be dodging a lot using Radiant dance machines. We're going to be getting our super fairly often given the Elemental Well mods that I'll talk about in a bit, so using Blade Barrage is going to be to its full effect. Well, next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So this build is focused on weapons currently used for Nightfalls and Lost sectors this season, but it's going to change at the end of Season of the Lost. So it's all about the Anti-Barrier, the Unstoppable, and the Overload mods. So the best thing to do is check out the Artifact mods, and you can swap out the weapons accordingly. So the only guidance I would really give here is to use solar weapons in your energy and your power slot, as they're going to help you create Elemental Wells, which really help complement the build. Well, in my kinetic slot, I'm using Legal Action 2, so this is a legendary kinetic pulse rifle. It's got a high impact frame, meaning it's slow firing and it's high damage. That's really good for Nightfalls this season and other PvE content due to the Unstoppable Pulse Rifle mod. Then in the energy slot, I'm using Tiku's Divination. So this is an exotic energy combat bow with some really interesting perks. So first we've got Sacred Flame. So hit firing the weapon fires multiple tracking projectiles, and targets marked with these projectiles explode upon death or when struck by another Sacred Flame's explosion. Then we've got Causality Arrows. So arrows fired while aiming down sights cause these Sacred Flames to instantly detonate, and precision hits with perfect drawn arrows increase the power of the detonations. So what you want to do is pepper a few enemies with some arrows without aiming down sights, so you get that Sacred Flame off, and you will notice that the arrows will stick out of the enemies. Well, then you want to aim down sights and shoot off one with Causality Arrows, and that is going to make your enemies explode. So that was the seasonal exotic from Season of the Chosen, but you can pick it up from the tower in the exotic kiosk if you haven't got Tiku's Divination. I would definitely recommend getting Tiku's Divination. It's one of the best solar weapons out there, especially this season when bows are really hot due to the overload mod on your seasonal artifact. Well, then for the power weapon, I'm using Ascendancy. So this is a legendary power rocket launcher, and it is a precision frame, meaning the weapon fires a small auto-tracking missile. And missiles lock onto targets when aimed, and it's a really good solar weapon, and it's going to help us spawn elemental wells. And this one is the ritual weapon in Season of the Lost. So what you want to do is basically get up to rank 16, either on the Vanguard, the Crucible, or the Gambit track, and then you'll be able to pick up Ascendancy. Well, finally, let's have a look at the mods. I'm using Elemental Armament. So combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. So basically, I'm using a solar subclass, I'm using a solar weapon, so my energy type matches my subclass, and that is going to help me spawn elemental wells. So if you don't know about elemental wells, they are little orbs that drop on the floor, and you can wear other mods that will give you benefits of picking up those elemental wells. So here's a good example of that with Elemental Charge. So picking up an elemental well, you get charged with light. And then we've got Supreme Well Maker, so casting your super spawns elemental wells. Then I've got Font of Wisdom, so temporarily you will get a significant boost to your intellect, so basically you're going to get your super back even faster. And then I'm using Argent Ordnance, and that is going to increase the damage of the rockets when I'm charged with light. So I'm using a combination here of Elemental Charge, so when I pick up a well, I'll get charged with light, then I pull out the rocket launcher, and that is going to increase the damage by about 20%. Then finally, I'm using Dynamo, so it helps you get your super back faster after using the class ability. It is a shame that Radiant Dance Machines got super nerfed, because Dynamo was really effective before when you stacked it, but I do understand why they nerfed it. It was simply broken. As I say, I'm using the Elemental Wells for two things here, so getting my super back faster and boosting the power of my rockets. So this is going to overall increase our damage output through strikes, nightfalls and lost sectors, and with those Radiant Dance Machines on your feet, you are going to be able to dance around enemies. Well, let me know what you think of the Radiant Dance Machines down there in the comments, and let me know your build tips. And if you've got any better builds with the Radiant Dance Machines, I'd love to hear from you and share them with the community. Well, that is it for this guide for how to get the Radiant Dance Machines in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.